Street Talk! Yeah!
Welcome to Street Talk. I am your host, Jason, and this is for Sunday, December the 7th. Sunday. NFL. Cleveland Browns hosting the Indianapolis Colts, or the revenge of Trent I'm Terrible Richardson. Trent Richardson goes back to his old stomping grounds, and don't think revenge isn't on his mind, folks. He plans on boosting up his yards per carry from 1.5 yards per carry all the way up to 1.8. Take that, Cleveland. Here we go. Indianapolis minus 3 points. On the road, they're going to be favored. I think that might be a little bit of a mistake. Well, first of all, let's look. Brian Hoyer has been named starting quarterback. And our boy, everybody's boy, Johnny F. Football, if you know what I mean, will remain the backup. Probably the most celebrated backup in the NFL. And you know, he came in last week, scored a garbage time touchdown, set the internet on fire, but then he's going back to his backup role. So Hoyer knows his starting position is really hanging on by a thread. Now, it's also interesting that Indy's favored by 3 because money has been pouring in on them this week. And instead of the line going up, it's remained static, even dropped down a little bit. It's been as high as 85% of the public money coming in on Indy. Obviously, the squares are going to be coming in on Indy. I think that might prove faulty, considering it's going to be outside, going to be in Cleveland, possibly cold, whatever. And don't forget, huge divisional game for Indianapolis next week with Houston. Always got to look ahead for both college and the pro football. What happened last week? Are they coming off an emotional loss or emotional victory? What is happening the week ahead? Is it going to be a division rivalry? Is something going to be on the line? And the division, the AFC South, will be on the line next week. So perhaps Indianapolis gets caught peeking ahead. We'll see how it goes. Statistically, Cleveland, obviously the better defense against the rush. They're 29th. Wow, that's not great. I've already mentioned that Trent Richardson's running the ball. And they're going to probably get a healthy dose of Boom Herron. How well can he hold up if he can? He'll probably be maybe a good fantasy start this week, especially because I'm sure you could have picked him off the scrap heap a couple weeks ago. And Indianapolis, the first ranked offensively pass offense, goes against the 8th ranked Cleveland pass defense. So it's going to be strength versus strength, weakness versus weakness, because Indianapolis, they are running the ball a little bit better this year than they have in years past, but it's still only 15th in the league. So 15th versus the 29th, 1st versus the 6th. On the opposite side of the ball, Indianapolis 12th versus the rush, 25th versus the pass. So again, it's going to be sort of similar. Cleveland is a little bit better this year. 13th versus the pass, 13th on passing offense, and 14th on rushing offense. So they're actually a little bit above the average this year on offense. But as I mentioned, Brian Hoyer's job hanging by a thread. He is going to get Jordan Cameron back, but Isaiah Crowell, game time decision. Is he going to play? It looks doubtful right now. We'll see when the injury report is finalized right before kickoff. Now, what does September 28th have to do with this game? September 28th was when the Miami Dolphins played the Oakland Raiders in London. What does that have to do with this? Well, if you remember, at that point, the Dolphins were 1-2. They lost 2 in a row after an opening season victory against the Patriots at home. They lost 2 in a row, and head coach Joe Philbin said he wasn't going to name the quarterback starter. So Ryan Tannehill was sort of left dangling in the breeze, and we were bringing up the name Matt Moore, for heaven's sake. Was he going to get the start? Who was going to start? Was it going to be Tannehill, Matt Moore? Well, midway through the week, he named Tannehill the starter. Tannehill really fired him up, and he hasn't looked back. They won that week. They won 4 out of the next 5, and they really catapulted themselves into the playoff picture. Why do I bring that up? Because the same exact thing basically happened with Brian Hoyer. Was Johnny F. Football going to start this week? What was going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Brian Hoyer named the starter. He knows his livelihood, his starting job, depends on this week. He's going to come out fired up, and he's going to get the Cleveland Browns a victory. Cleveland for the win. Cleveland for the green. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you next time on Street Talk.